The next thing I want to discuss is, and this is before we go over finishes, is a basic grip when you get stuck with the single insofar as you haven't been able to successfully finish it initially or immediately. Now, in going over this grip, which frankly I think will be difficult to pick up on a wrestling instructional, because you kind of have to feel it and you need feedback, I think, in doing this from somebody who knows how to do it correctly, just based upon how it feels to them when you're practicing it on them. The goal here is to be able to feel comfortable and confident maintaining position when you've got stuck. That being said, it's critical that you don't interpret the time I'm going to spend on this grip as indicating my goal when I get a single is to camp out there. It's not. My goal is to finish it right away. And we're going to be going over a bunch of finishes that will be, I think, quite useful in terms of adding to your arsenal to finish a single leg, particularly a head inside single from your feet. But that being said, there are times where you get stuck, and it's important to get a position where you can be confident and strong and also be making your opponent, again, exerting more energy than you are. This is how I like to grip the single leg when I get stuck. I want to come in with the outside hand, palm down, the inside hand palm up. When I'm in this position here, I want to get wrist to wrist. Wrist to wrist. Not like this. I'm not saying this is bad. Okay, this is an okay grip here. But I want to get bone on bone. I don't want the flexibility here. I want to get bone on bone, and I'll show you why in a moment. Once I've got this grip here, next what I want to do, and again you'll notice my head is up, it's not down, it's where it was initially. I want to pinch his leg. You'll notice my knees are together, but my feet are slightly apart. A better base than if they're close together or right next to each other. Outside hand is palm down, inside hand is palm up. I'm not grabbing like this, I'm grabbing higher, wrist to wrist. Now I want you to notice the inside of my forearm here cuts at the medial part of his lower leg here, below his knee. This part here from behind is above his knee and back. There's pressure here, this way. There's pressure here, this way. Now, there's pressure here with my deltoid, okay, from this position here. Now you'll notice my position here, this inside foot, or I should say the foot that's behind Colby's leg, is slightly forward. I want to talk a bit about what I believe is a crucial point when you have a single leg in terms of being able to control the position as well as to finish it. I never want Colby's weight to be neutral. By that, I mean, right now, my body and my weight and my power is neither pushing down on him, increasing the weight on this foot, or lifting up, decreasing the weight on that foot, but making it more difficult for him to move. Right now, he is at his most mobile, and because he's his most mobile, he's going to be his most effective in terms of defending against me. Furthermore, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort for him to be bouncing around here. If I'm pushing his leg up, all of a sudden it becomes much more difficult for Colby to maintain his balance. Of course, I wouldn't have a single like this, but I'm just trying to make the point. If my pressure is up, it becomes much more difficult. He has to burn a lot more energy to maintain his balance. Conversely, in this situation, and this is what I do when I get the single, Colby can tell you with this pressure here, this pressure behind the knee, and this coming down, I'm pushing down on his leg. If I'm pushing down on his leg, he all of a sudden has much more weight on this leg. If I'm pushing down on this leg, the supporting leg is going to have much more weight on it. If he has much more weight on it, it's going to require much more energy for him to maintain his balance up because he's got to use his thigh muscles for that. Also, it's going to be more difficult for him to be mobile because the more weight on this foot, the less he's going to be able to jump around. And if he's less mobile, when I do try my finish, I'm more likely to be successful. So again, this position, pinching, this leg is slightly forward, kind of pigeon-toed here. My feet are slightly apart. This leg, or this arm is inside his leg, palm up. The back arm, palm down. Inside here is against the inside, right below his knee. This is behind his leg, above his knee, right here. This is coming down across his thigh. Like here. You'll notice my head is not down. I do not do this type of technique to maintain pressure here by doing like a sit-up or an inverted sit-up. I'm not doing this. That's tiring on my back. It also gets my head down and makes me vulnerable to his good defense if he knows what he's doing. What I am doing in this position is I'm sagging like this. Distinguish this, which requires back muscles, abdominal muscles, and also gets my head positioned too low relative to my hips. Distinguish that from this. Okay? The angle of my body and my back remains the same. I'm sagging. Just to hold on to a rope and sag requires a lot less energy than trying to force something down using my back and my abdomen. So I'm in here, pinching, because that helps control the leg, and I'm sagging. Notice my head is up. And Colby can tell you he's got a lot of weight here and he's getting tired as I'm talking. My head is up. I'm putting a lot of weight here on this thigh. I'm not pushing down like that with my back and get my head down. I'm just hanging here. And I can almost like camp out here. Look, don't even have the grip, but I'm controlling the lower part of his leg. He can tell you there's still a lot of weight on this thigh here, and he's going to get tired. Okay? There's so much weight here, he's not very mobile. And I just want to get that, if you get that principle, a lot of the finishes I'm going to discuss will make much more sense. They'll be very intuitive. And then as you're learning your own finishes, things that I'm not talking about in this instructional series, you'll have a framework to figure out what's the appropriate finish dependent upon your partner's position and where his weight is. And we're going to discuss that a little bit more as we go along. But for now, when you have a single, you never want your partner or opponent's weight to be neutral. Either you got to be pushing his leg up or keeping the weight down. It's never neutral. And again, saying that, I'm not saying I want to camp out in that position. I don't. I want to finish as quick as I can. But I want you to be able to understand principles of feeling confident if you initially get blocked coming in, such that you can't finish right away. You don't have to panic. And in fact, you can take advantage of that position and make your partner or your opponent more tired than you are. It does not require a lot of oomph on my part to be pinching my legs here and to be hanging here. It just doesn't. Now, I'm not going to be hanging here for very long, but Colby right now is using a lot more energy. I can feel his thigh here. He's pushing up. He's using a lot more energy than I am. And that, if you get this principle, you're in good shape. Now, remember, I want to sag this way as I push down. I want you to look at my shoulder. I'm in around his leg here. I'm pinching. You'll notice this one's slightly forward. Now watch. This is behind his knee at the lower part of his hamstring. Right here is going to be towards his inside of his leg. This comes down like this, right on his thigh. And I sag. I sag. By sagging, he's supporting me on this foot as well as his own weight. This is not a difficult position for me, and it will not make me particularly tired. I can stand this a lot more than he can because he's having to support himself on one leg.